Rotten tomatoes.
It's better when British people say it, though.
Tomatoes.
Right.
Tomatoes.
Let's call the whole thing off.
Where would you like me to take you?
Let's check it out.
Broke into people's houses, wore their clothes, slept in their beds.
I think Arthur Newman was fascinating to watch because it's Arthur and Mike, these people acting like other people because they're so uncomfortable with themselves. Mm-hmm. And it made me think of the nature of acting in general.
Yes.
And do you think that when you first started acting and became interested in it, that it had anything to do with being mildly uncomfortable in your own skin?
I absolutely, that's definitely my case with it, because I, on a very, obvious way, I had a really bad stutter when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And I had this fantastic teacher called Mr. McHale, who was the head of my class, and I was about 12 or 13, and he wanted me to do the class play. And I just said no, or shook my head, which is about all I could do at that time. Yeah. He said, well, I've heard you do kind of funny accents and messing around with your friends and doing voices. I've heard you do me. So why don't you do a silly voice? Because I think you speak fairly fluently when you take on a different persona. So if that isn't evidence of like what it can do and how freeing it can be to sort of mask ourselves with someone else, then, because I got on stage and I just spoke fluently.
And you
just went. But it worked, and my mum came and was just like, just cried, because she hadn't heard me speak like that, forever.
What about you? I mean, it's so hard for people to picture you all as you are now, being uncomfortable with yourself. But do you think, right? Because
well,
you're you,
Colin, is
No, a psychiatrist have a field day with why I did it, or why.
Tell me more about how that makes you feel.
Exactly. And I don't know is the answer. I've tried to think back on why, and or why anybody does anything, to be honest. And then someone who decides to be an actor, maybe you need attention for one reason or another. Mm-hmm.
Maybe you see a performance you love, and you're like, that's it, that's what I want to do.
Well, absolutely. Also, escapism. I was no good at chemistry in school, but that was okay because I had other dreams. I was going to go and do this other thing, which was far more important, and who cares about chemistry? So,
right. You know who doesn't care about how good you are at chemistry? A guy named Oscar.
Well, but even without any of the, the shiny things that you have as proof of how you've done, at least you didn't. I mean, there was a decision I think I made quite consciously at the age of about 14 when I got up feeling that overwhelming sinking feeling about absolutely everything I had to do at school that day, which was I am not going to spend my life waking up feeling this about my day. And if this seems more exciting, at least I know I'm going to be pursuing that, even if I'm washing dishes, in pursuit of it, at least that it's with that in mind. And so that became the day I made the announcement. I'm not following this, I'm following that.
Good for you. Yeah. Glad you did it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.